The film begins in Kenya, where a helicopter suddenly crashes, causing panic among the locals. A team of US soldiers rushes in to assist with the evacuation and seek cover. They position themselves to counterattack, but the enemy's weapon is far more advanced. It vaporizes several soldiers the instant they are hit. As the team fights desperately, their leader witnesses a massive explosion that throws him through the air and knocks him unconscious. When he wakes up, he finds himself locked inside a damaged police station, completely disoriented. He has no memory of who he is, how he got there, or even his own name. His arm is wounded, the building is half destroyed, and the lights are flickering. Upon inspecting the cell, he notices a loose brick in the wall. He opens it and looks out, only to see chaos everywhere. He begins shouting for help, but a voice from the next cell warns him to stay quiet or they will both be killed.
You need to be quiet.
What are we doing here?
Shut up, you get us killed.
The voice belongs to Nadia, a French doctor who worked at a local relief hospital before it was destroyed. She tells them they are in a city called Nairobi, Kenya. The man who locked you up probably knocked you out. Suddenly, heavy footsteps make the building vibrate and sparks fly from the electrical outlets. Nadia explains that Earth has been invaded by robotic aliens. Moments later, the soldier hears voices outside and calls for help again. Nadia begs him to stop, but he doesn't listen. Nadia quickly hides a piece of broken glass as armed thugs force their way in, dragging a hostage whom they brutally kill on the spot. Their leader interrogates Nadia, asking who she works for, but she doesn't understand his language. He wants to know who you work for and why you're locked up. To everyone's surprise, the soldier responds fluently, and the leader realizes he is American. Sensing he might be valuable, they decide to take him. As soon as they open his cell, the soldier attacks, fighting the thugs hand to hand until he and one of them crash through a window. Inside, the leader and another man enter Nadia's cell to assault her, but she defends herself by stabbing the leader with the broken glass, then takes his gun and shoots the second thug. When she runs out of ammunition, she hits the leader in the head with a brick and finishes him off. Outside, the soldier manages to shoot one thug and struggles with another who tries to use a taser on him. Curiously, the soldier grabs the live end of the taser without being harmed, channeling the electricity back and electrocuting the attacker. While he tries to process what happened, the towering alien robot that caused the previous tremors appears. He runs and hides in a wrecked car, but the robot scans him and, mysteriously, leaves without harming him. He returns to the police station and discovers that Nadia has already handled the rest. She is surprised that he came back for her. Since he still doesn't remember his name, she notices the letters B.O. on his sleeve and decides to call him that. After treating his wound and gathering weapons from the fallen thugs, Bo and Nadia set off together in search of safety. Once outside, Bo wants to head to the nearest US base, believing they will find help there. He argues that they must avoid crowds and travel through open country because the aliens hunt humans, especially in groups. Nadia, however, believes it is too dangerous and expects nothing but corpses at the base. Bo insists there must still be people hiding in bunkers trying to communicate with the Pentagon. Then, Nadia drops the bombshell. All satellites were destroyed 8 days ago, and the Pentagon is gone. Despite the grim news, Bo is determined to act and fight for whatever is left, and Nadia reluctantly agrees to go with him. They find a working car. Bo repairs the tires while Nadia searches abandoned vehicles for food and water. Bo has fleeting visions of the battle he fought before losing his memory, but the images make no sense. While driving, Bo loads his weapon and asks Nadia how she handles firearms so well. She explains she was a medic in the French army and that sometimes doctors have to drop the needle and pick up a rifle. Suddenly, bullets hit the car and they veer off the road. Soldiers surround them. It is the Kenyan army. With her hands up, Nadia speaks in Swahili, claiming to be a foreign aid doctor in need of safe passage. She lies, saying Bo is an American soldier escorting her. To her surprise, Bo speaks the local language and orders the commander to stand down. The commander says that US military no longer exists, but will let them pass in exchange for water. Nadia agrees to share, but a soldier sees a symbol on Bo's arm and shouts that he is from the dish. Bo disarms one of them, takes down the attackers, and only spares the life of the commander and a female soldier. The commander explains there is a heavily guarded American radar station near the western border with the same symbol. He also mentions that people suspect the alien machines are American-made because the antennas at that radar station are the only things left standing. The female soldier lunges at Bo, but he subdues her without firing. Another fleeting memory hits him. Bo and Nadia take the soldier's jeep and continue toward the radar station. While driving, Nadia points out that Bo must have belonged to Special Forces due to his combat skills and ability to speak many languages. Bo removes his bandage and notices his wound is shaped like an arrow pointing toward the dish. He argues that going to the station is the right decision. Nadia protests. What if the Kenyan soldiers are right and the Americans there are involved? Bo's response is blunt. They will face and eliminate anyone who stands in their way. Further ahead, they see a warning sign for landmines, forcing them to detour through an abandoned village. Upon entering, they find the road covered in loose electrical wires sparking dangerously. While deciding what to do, a robot appears behind them. With no other choice, they speed the jeep through the wires as the robot pursues and opens fire. The vehicle breaks down, so they abandon it and flee on foot. Hiding behind debris, they suddenly hear a girl scream. A little girl and her father are being hunted by the robot. They watch helplessly as the machine kills the man in front of his daughter. Nadia fires to distract it, but it's too late. The girl is also a target. The robot scans the area, including Bo and Nadia's position, but again leaves without attacking.
We couldn't help them.
That night, they camp. Bo makes some light jokes to lift their spirits, and Nadia quietly shares that she lost her entire family when the aliens first attacked. Their conversation is interrupted when a fleet of fighter jets roars across the night sky, a sign of hope that humanity is still fighting. At dawn, they continue on foot, walking for miles through a landscape that alternates between stunning scenery and scenes of total destruction. Suddenly, they hear a voice speaking in English. Thinking it might be survivors, they investigate, but it turns out to be a recording. Before they can react, armed locals jump from their hiding spots and surround them. Bo and Nadia are forced to hand over their weapons. The locals take them to a ruined building and chain them to a wrecked car. Shortly after, two men on motorcycles speed by, drawing an alien robot directly toward them. The locals' plan becomes clear. Bo and Nadia are bait. The robot scans Bo, but once again does not attack him. The locals spring their trap by detonating a mine under the robot and unleashing a hail of gunfire. The machine is barely phased. They throw a chain over it and finally manage to bring it down with an electric shock. But moments later, more robots arrive, annihilating most of the fighters in seconds. Amidst the chaos, Bo painfully breaks free from the chains and helps Nadia escape. They hide until the remaining robots chase after a fleeing motorcyclist, giving them a small window to get away. When the danger passes, they continue their journey. While crossing a bridge, they nearly fire at what looks like a sniper's scope, but it turns out to be a camera lens reflecting sunlight. It belongs to a wounded photojournalist named Stander. Seeing his condition, Nadia rushes to help, but he refuses, saying the wound is fatal and he is already dying. Stander tells them he has documented everything since the invasion began: the ships, the attacks, and even child soldiers fighting back. He shows them haunting photos, including one of a child alone in front of a robot, saying his images are proof that humanity hasn't given up. A distant explosion shakes the area, and they take cover in an abandoned building. Inside, Stander notices the symbol on Bo's arm and recognizes it. He has seen it at a radar station in one of his photos. He shows the image to Bo and proposes a deal. He will give them the camera, which could help locate the station, in exchange for a bullet to end his pain. Bo refuses, haunted by memories of a dying man from his past. Desperate, Stander begins to scream and throw things to attract the aliens. With no other choice, Nadia reluctantly ends his suffering by strangling him. After this harsh episode, Bo and Nadia follow the road using Stander's photographs as a guide. As they walk for miles, Bo continues to experience random visions of his memory that still don't make sense. Upon reaching another deserted town, the camera battery dies, forcing them to steal another car. After hours of driving, they hear strange noises on the radio. Curious, they stop to investigate. Nearby, they find a destroyed robot, their first sign that the machines can actually be defeated. Bo comments that there must be a weakness somewhere, a way to fight and eliminate them all. Suddenly, they hear heavy footsteps and see a massive dust storm approaching. They race back to the car and flee at high speed as hundreds of robots emerge behind them, firing wildly. In a desperate attempt to escape, they abandon the car and hide in an abandoned house, huddling in the basement as the robots march overhead. In the tense silence, fear gives way to a brief moment of closeness between them. But it doesn't last long. The ground begins to shake and the house is torn apart as a massive alien ship appears above them, sucking everything upward. Bo and Nadia are pulled into the air, but when the ship scans Bo, it suddenly drops him and takes Nadia instead. He falls heavily to the ground and loses consciousness. When Bo wakes up, his leg is impaled by a wooden splinter. Gritching his teeth, he pulls it out, bandages the wound, and fashions a cane. Limping and weak, he continues his journey alone until he finally reaches the radar station. But what he finds devastates him. The base is in ruins, the equipment destroyed, and the place deserted. Only a fresh piece of graffiti on a wall suggests someone has been there recently. Following the lead, Bo heads to a nearby town to find whoever left it. Upon arriving, he collapses against a wall to rest. Then he sees a group of locals being chased by a robot. To his surprise, they use a strange device to instantly deactivate it. Before he can react, several robots of different models appear and surround him. They scan Bo for a few seconds and then, inexplicably, turn around and leave. The incident triggers another buried memory. He remembers firing a rocket at a robot and then trying to save a dying comrade who pleaded with him to end his life. The memory overwhelms him and he passes out. When he regains consciousness, he is in a survivor shelter. A doctor treats his leg. His rescuers, Kara and Juma, introduce themselves. They listen as Bo recounts everything, how the ship took Nadia and left him behind. Juma gently tells him that finding her is impossible. No one returns from the ships. Kara, however, wonders why the alien spared his life. Sensing something strange, Juma and Kara take Bo to an engineer named Roderick. He explains that he has been building EMP devices capable of deactivating the robots. He shows Bo a massive prototype designed to detonate under one of the ships, an explosion powerful enough to shut down all the machines at once. The only problem is getting close to the ship, as it only appears where there is a large concentration of humans to capture. When Kara mentions that the ship didn't take Bo, Roderick is visibly shocked. Moments later, a guard reports over the radio that hundreds of robots are approaching their position. The survivors panic. Bo's eyes lock onto the robot sketches on Roderick's wall, and his memory finally clicks into place. He remembers being captured and how they fed wires through his mouth to implant a tracker in his spine. Before passing out, he drew the arrow on his arm as a clue. Realizing the truth, Bo confesses that he is the reason the robots found them. The machines use implanted trackers to follow survivors to their hiding places, and he is one of the marked carriers. The revelation infuriates Kara, who points her gun at him, ready to kill him to protect her people. But Juma intervenes, insisting the damage is already done and that killing Bo won't change anything. Bo, consumed by guilt, proposes a desperate plan: to use himself as bait to lure the ship and give Roderick the perfect opportunity to detonate the EMP. The group forms a plan to locate the next abduction site. Bo insists on trying to rescue those captured, but Roderick explains the priority is to protect those who remain. With other countries already fallen, it's now up to them. Everyone begins to evacuate and prepare for battle. Bo notices a woman who looks much like Nadia, but as she turns, he realizes it is someone else. Before leaving, Roderick explains how to operate the EMP device, emphasizing that it is their only chance. Armed and ready, the team sets out. The roads are eerily silent. Suddenly, they trigger a hidden bomb. The explosion kills several companions instantly. The survivors press on and soon see the ship heading in the opposite direction. To intercept it, they decide to go through the tunnels. Inside, they are ambushed by a large robot. 2 members are killed, but the rest escape. Moving on, a smaller robot wounds Kara. They destroy it, but more are on the way. Realizing she won't survive, Kara orders the others to leave her behind. She takes Roderick's grenades and stays to slow the machine's advance. While the others flee with the EMP, Kara detonates the grenades in a massive explosion that buys them time. Meanwhile, Bo and Roderick locate a large crowd of captives surrounded by robots, with the ship hovering above. The plan is to eliminate one of the robots so the people can escape. Bo takes a grenade from Roderick and approaches a robot. It scans him but doesn't fire, giving him an opening to toss the grenade. The explosion destroys the robot and chaos breaks out as the captives flee. The remaining robots open fire as Roderick and his team push the EMP. One by one, the others are killed until only Roderick is left dragging the device alone. He tries to activate it, but the battery is damaged. While he struggles to repair it, a robot detects the device as a threat. Bo throws a stone to distract it. Seeing this, the crowd fights back with whatever they have until the robot collapses. In that moment, Bo remembers that the tracker in his body can conduct electricity. Determined to finish the mission, he places one hand on the fallen robot and the other on the EMP device. Electricity surges through his body as he channels the energy into the machine. The EMP activates, releasing a massive shockwave that deactivates every robot. The ship crashes and explodes. Bo collapses, exhausted, and loses consciousness. In his mind, he sees memories of his time with Nadia and their struggle to survive. When he wakes up, Roderick is at his side, smiling and telling him the plan worked. The robots are gone. Bo says he remembers everything now. They help him up and ask his real name. Bo pauses, smiles, and replies,
Bo.